Are you totally confused about what to eat? I mean, one day it's cut all the carbs, the next it's fat is your friend. It's a lot. So, for the next few minutes, let's cut through all that noise. We're going to use a clear, authoritative guide based directly on the World Health Organization's Global Blueprint for Healthy Eating. Ready? Let's dive in.
And we really need to pay attention because the stakes are incredibly high. The WHO puts it right out there with this statement. This isn't just about looking good or feeling a bit better. We're talking about one of the most significant health challenges on the entire planet.
So, what exactly are these global risks?
Well, an unhealthy diet is a major driver of what are called non-communicable diseases, or NCDs. And you know these names. We're talking about the big ones: heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and even some types of cancer. These aren't small problems. They're some of the world's top causes of death and disability.
Okay, to make sense of all this, here's our quick roadmap. First, we'll look at why this is a global issue. Then we'll get into the actual WHO blueprint for a healthy diet. We'll zero in on 3 key targets: fat, sugar, and salt, and then give you some super simple swaps that make a huge difference. And finally, we'll zoom out and look at the bigger picture.
So how in the world did we get here? Well, just think about it for a second. Our lives have gotten faster, more urban, right? And our food has changed right along with it. We've kind of drifted away from whole foods and towards more processed meals that are just packed with energy, fats, free sugars, and salt. And in the process, we're missing out on the really good stuff like fruits, veggies, and whole grains. But you know, it's not all doom and gloom. Not at all. The WHO actually gives us a really clear path forward. So let's shift from the problem to the solution and see what a foundation for a healthy diet actually looks like. It really is all about balance and just understanding a few core ideas. Now, this is what I love about this. It shows you right away that a healthy diet isn't about eliminating things completely. No way. It's all about proportion. The goal is to get less than 30% of your daily energy from total fats and less than 10% from free sugars. The rest? That comes from good stuff like quality carbohydrates and protein. See? It's a balance.
So what should we be piling onto our plates? Well, the foundation of a healthy diet is built on these foods right here. The WHO recommends at least 400 grams, which is about 5 portions, of fruits and vegetables every single day. And it's so important to get in legumes like lentils and beans, plus nuts, and whole grains like brown rice and oats.
All right, let's talk about the big 3. If you want to make the biggest positive change to your diet, the WHO says to focus your attention right here, on the types of fat you eat, the amount of free sugar you consume, and your daily salt intake. Get these right and you're well on your way. First up, fats. And you've probably heard this before, but not all fats are created equal. This really breaks it down. We want to be choosing the unsaturated fats. You know, the good guys found in things like fish, avocado, nuts, and olive oil. On the other hand, we need to limit the saturated and trans fats, which you'll find a lot of in fatty meats, butter, and tons of baked and fried foods.
And to get really specific, the WHO puts numbers on it. The goal is to get saturated fats down to less than 10% of our daily calories. And for trans fats, especially the artificial, industrially produced kind, the target is less than 1%. I mean, the message is pretty clear. Those just don't have a place in a healthy diet.
Okay, next up, sugar. And this is a really key distinction. When the WHO talks about limiting sugar, they mean free sugars. And what does that mean? Well, it's not just the spoonful you stir into your coffee. It's also all the sugar that manufacturers hide in processed foods, and this is the surprising part for a lot of people. It even includes the sugars in natural things like honey, syrups, and fruit juices.
So how much is too much? The recommendation is to keep those free sugars under 10% of your total energy. For an average adult, that comes out to about 50 grams or 12 teaspoons a day. And get this, a single can of soda can contain almost all of that. Wow, that really puts it into perspective, doesn't it? And if you want to do even better, the WHO says aiming for less than 5% has even more health benefit.
And finally, our third target, salt. The WHO's maximum recommended daily intake is just 5 grams. That's it. To put that in perspective, that's about 1 single teaspoon for the entire day. And that includes all salt, not just what you add from the shaker at the table.
And this is where it gets really wild. This chart shows the huge gap between the recommendation and what's actually happening. Most people are consuming 9 to 12 grams of salt per day. That's roughly double the recommended limit. And this directly contributes to things like high blood pressure, which increases the risk of heart disease and stroke.
All right, so we've covered the what and the why. So let's get to the how. The great news is that you don't need to do a complete diet overhaul overnight. Small, practical changes can have a massive impact.
Since we just saw how high most of our salt intake is, let's start there. Here are 3 simple but really powerful steps. First, just be mindful of high-sodium condiments like soy sauce. Second, try taking the salt shaker off the dinner table. You might be surprised how little you miss it. And third, become a label detective. When you're shopping, just take an extra second to choose products that are lower in sodium.
And I love this table because it lays out some brilliant, easy swaps. Instead of frying your food, why not try steaming or boiling? Instead of cooking with butter or lard, you can switch to unsaturated oils like olive oil. And for that afternoon snack, instead of reaching for sugary treats, grab some fresh fruit or raw veggies. See? Simple pivots can totally redefine your diet.
Now, for a second, let's just zoom out. Because while our individual choices are super powerful, they don't happen in a vacuum, you know? We're all part of a larger food environment that's shaped by policy, by industry, and by culture.
The crucial point here is that this is bigger than just you and me. Real, lasting change requires a team effort. Policymakers can help create healthier environments for everyone by promoting fresh foods, encouraging companies to improve their products, and making sure we all have clear, easy-to-understand nutrition labels and information.
So, after all that, what's the big takeaway for you? It's this: progress, not perfection. Please don't get overwhelmed trying to change everything at once. Just focus on making small, consistent, positive choices. Your health journey really is built one meal at a time. And that really brings us to the end. So the real question isn't whether you can become the perfect eater tomorrow. The question is this: based on everything we've just decoded from the World Health Organization, what is one healthy swap you can make today?